Hey everybody, it's me, Remy the Comic Book Poser. I'm here today to welcome you to Enter the Poseverse. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. I'm anxiously keeping an eye on the TV in the other room to figure out if the Chiefs won. It's halftime now. But we're talking about the books that I'm picking up on this week's new comic book day, the 3rd of November in the year of our Lord 2021. So to find out what I think you should read along with me, you'll check it out after this.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
3 quick things. Number 1, don't forget about Thursday night's Whatnot auction at 8 o'clock Central on Whatnot. Number 2, Shop Talk episode number 6 is live here in the Poseverse at 9:30 Central, where we're going to talk about the weekly picks and books, and we're also talking about Image workers unionizing and seeing what kind of ripple effects we think that'll have across the industry. And then don't forget this upcoming Sunday here in the Poseverse again, another Sunday auction. It might be shenanigans, it might be a regular ass auction, but figure it out. You'll have to follow us on social media. So let's talk books. Alright, so this week is still a little large for me, but not as big as last week. So our first book up is After Dark number 1. It is a 4-story anthology from Aftershock. I am excited. I am loving all of the things that they are doing in the larger prestige format. I also enjoy the pun that this is not a one-shot, it's a one-shock. And it's in time for the most horrific month of the year, November? Printing delays knocked this out of October, I'm guessing, but I'm excited to see, unless this is some creepy-ass, like, Thanksgiving Day, and other November holiday stories, like Creepy Veterans Day. Those are the only 2 things I can think of. Boxing Day popped in my head, but that's the day after Christmas, so I don't know. After pulling a whopping 0 DC books last week, we get 3 in a row, and they all have Batman in the name. Batman 116, I like seeing, everything starting to come to a bigger head between the Bat family and taking on Peacekeeper, knowing why he's malfunctioning, knowing that Scarecrow is playing a bigger piece of the puzzle. Second is Reptilian number 5. I have loved this series. We started to see the face of the monster and who it may be related to in existing Batman canon. And then we get Batman The Adventures Continue Season 2, number 6. Again, if you've loved Batman the Animated Series, if that feels like your childhood, or you have good memories of that, you should be reading this book. Next up from Vault is Bluefin number 5. I think we had a couple, maybe, 6 weeks between the last 2 issues, but Bluefin is in the midst of beginning the trial in front of everybody who is deciding whether or not Earth needs to exist or not, and he is the face of planet Earth. We are also still continuing to learn about the aftermath of the horrific things that happened to the folks in, Milwaukee at the Comic-Con? It's been a hot minute. I like this series. I'm excited for number 5. Next up from Aftershock is Campsie the Dragon Incident number 3. I'm just enjoying kind of the weird, irreverent tone that exists in this book. How Campsie, who is a fixer, literally cannot do anything to interact with the dragon, so he's got to figure out how he can fix the people around him to deal with the imminent coexistence of dragons. Next up from Dark Horse is Critical Role Vox Machina Origins number 4. Again, I'm still behind in this series, but I've got all the issues now. I'm excited to read the 3rd volume. We've got a double dose of Marvel books coming up now. The first is Darkhawk number 3. I really enjoyed the take on this reiteration of Darkhawk, kind of learning the background story, how, this young man is learning how to deal with illness, being a kid, and being a superhero. We also are learning that the people around him may not necessarily be able to be trusted in all instances, especially his friend, and, we get to find out how he deals with some loss, and if Darkhawk has boundaries or not. Next, we get The Death of Doctor Strange, The Avengers #1. I don't know if this is the first tie-in to this event, or there have been other tie-ins that I just haven't picked up, but hell yeah, there's a Juggernaut-esque monster. Nobody, can stop him, because Doctor Strange is the easiest one who can put him in an infinite loop or slow him down, so let's see what happens. Next up is a new publisher to me. This is Second Sight Publishing, which is hard to say with teeth issues. But the book is Freak Show Kingdom. What brought me to this is Jonathan Hedrick, who has written several things that I have very, very much enjoyed. So this is it sounds like a collection of some elements of things that have been already published, maybe, and some news stories. I really just like this cover. I really like the idea of zombie King Arthur, which is one of the reasons I'm, drawn to Once and Future. Next from Image, again, who knows if they're caught up with the print delays, if League of Comic Geeks has kind of arranged itself after the last 2 weeks of things kind of being off. But we got Frontiersman #2. I really enjoyed the idea of turning to the gritty, outdoor side guy, living in the woods to, deal with threat, and that he's hooking up with a bunch of new wave hippies. That's fun to me. Next up is Puzzle Box #4. Again, this is out in print after it has come out already digitally. I haven't read that. I really think this cover is quite cool in terms of the puzzle with the dripping of the Joker's blood. But we're starting to see if Gotham PD can figure out a little bit more in terms of who is responsible for the death of the Riddler. But I've really enjoyed this series, especially for me just picking it up on a whim when I was visiting my buddies over at Comic Burrito in August. Next up from AWA, we get a new title, Knighted #1. Again, it's in the Resistance universe, very clearly billed that way. You can see with the never being X'd out on the front page, on the cover page, that something's going to happen to our heroes where they face mortality. We know in Moss that some of these folks can die in a 6-month window after activating their powers. In some instances in the Resistance and Resistance Reborns, we've seen, people face their mortality. I want to see what happens in Knighted. We got another pair of Image books coming up from Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. We get the Me You Love in the Dark #4. I really enjoyed the way that we've explored the relationship between the artist and the creepy spirit of the house in the last one, and we see that this is billed as kind of taking to a darker turn to this. So if we start to see maybe some more manipulation or something menacing coming from the direction of the specter haunting the home, then I'm excited for that. Also from Image, we get Chip Zdarsky's new release, Chip Zdarsky and Team, in New Burn #1. So we get a we get a private dick who is interested in, figuring out whoever will pay him the most to investigate crimes. The premise of this one is that a man is killed by his own mafia family from stealing from them. I'm excited to see, this take on a Chip Zdarsky crime, noir appearing series. Next up from Scout Comics is North Bend #1. This is the beginning of the second arc. I really, really enjoyed this series. This is one of the ones that I started picking up the Scout box after North Bend came out, and I was like, hold the hell on, I need to buy the rest of the series. So we get to see somebody again in post-soldier life. Yes. I love this series. From Aftershock, we get Out of Body #5. This is, I think, the next to last book of the series, but we are starting to find more people who may be responsible for Dan being in his comatose state. And we get a magician, apparently. Dope. Next, we get Primordial #2 from Image. This came out to my LCS last week, and I picked it up from one of the two of them where I've got it on pull. it's real good. I don't know if it was officially supposed to come out this week or not, but again, it could be that things getting pushed back a week or two because of Ant and Gunslinger Spawn and all the other stuff. Next up, again from Image, we get Radiant Black number 9. This series is just good. That, you know, issue number 1 and 2 to me were like, I've kind of read this series before. But then the way that it's kind of played with the path direction of the main characters, changing up the identity of Radiant Black early in the series was cool. Learning about Red, learning about all the new different Radiant colors, has given the series a lot of staying power to me. And it's a book that I very much look forward to, that this is going to be towards the top of the stack this week. Next from Vault Comics is The Rush number 1. Again, I'm trying out a lot of Vault number 1s. I think this is billed as part of their Nightfall series of books, so it's going to be something horror-oriented. But we get some Hell on Wheels Town, some lawlessness in post-Gold Rush Yukon territory, so yes please. Next up we get Silver Coin number 6. I sure as hell hope this definitely comes out this week. I loved the way that the coin was used as a rhetorical device, passed between multiple different storytellers in the first arc, that has promised to do the same thing again. Williamson is listed first. I think he is the one who is writing this first issue in terms of, you know, the silver coin in an arcade, but if it's not Williamson on this first book, there was a lot of stacked talent on this book. So if you didn't read arc number 1, you're going to want to check this one out because it's got heavy hitters. Next up from DC is Swamp Thing number 9. I think this is the next to last book. I think it's 9 of 10. So Levi is starting to figure out more. He is figuring out whether or not he wants to continue to represent the land deal that he is being asked. He is learning more from his relationship and conversations with his fathers. Again, we see a clash with his brother in this one. I think what Ram V and the creative team has done on Swamp Thing has made me super interested in this character. I feel like I say that every week, or every issue, and I need to come up with something better. So hopefully I'll have a good descriptor by the time issue 10 comes out. From IDW, we get Best of April O'Neil. Again, these are a good, cheap way to collect classic TMNT stories that you may have missed out on from multiple publishers. So, you know, we're going par for the course for all of these for me. From Behemoth, we got Turbo Kid, Apple's Lost Adventure number 2. I really enjoyed the first one. I didn't know that there was going to be a second to this. Like, it read like it was just setting you up for a video game kind of universe. So, I'm excited for this, especially looking at the relationship between the two characters that exist in the first issue. So, I'm excited for that. From Image, we've got Two Moons number 6 coming back. I really enjoyed Two Moons, the first arc that I love. You know, so Civil War plus, you know, beasts of the occult or beasts of fantasy. So now that we have a shaman and a medical doctor of two different walks of life having to come work together to deal with another horror crisis, I'm super excited. Next from Marvel is Winter Guard number 3. I am, again, enjoying this for the same reason that I'm enjoying reading all things Black Widow, that it's giving me a richer understanding of that universe. I also like the way that this series has been tying into the ongoing World War She-Hulk event. So yes, please, yes, please, yes, please. Next from Vault is World of Darkness number 2. This is the offshoot of Vampire the Masquerade. I am still finishing up the most recent arc of that book. I can't remember, I think it was KM talked about World of Darkness number 1 the week it came out on Shop Talk, so I'm excited to get caught up on that third trade. And the last book of the week, wow, this is the only X-Men book that's out instead of like the 3 million that I have left to read. So we get X-Men Legends number 8 set in the 1991 universe. I'm excited that it is Wolverine Omega Red. I love anytime either of those characters or anything. I love watching them duke it out in the 90s, so I am super excited to check out this week's issue because I am on issue number 7 of Legends. Whew. It's a lot of books. What do you think? Anything that I'm that's not on my pull that I should try and hunt down, should try and pick up off the shelf? In the comments below, let me know. If you're in the chat, I'm sure you'll let me know over here. But I'll check you out with everything else I got going on the rest of the week. So as always, y'all, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. It's time to see if the Chiefs are losing at the beginning of the second half.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.